This Jocks 94.5 podcast is brought to you by Millennium Satellite and Video. Log on to msbnow.com. TV excellence everywhere. That's Millennium. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning starts now.
Welcome back, McElroy Cubelic in the morning. Jocks 94.5, 9 o'clock here in Birmingham, Alabama. Look forward to visiting with Stanford Steve here in just a moment. Always appreciate our visits with him as we get you dialed in for week 0 of the college football season. We got games tomorrow, and a few that are interesting, I might add. It's not just Farmageddon, Kansas State, Iowa State. You also have an intriguing game between Kansas and Fresno State. Fresno State's been the adopted sons of Mac and Cube for quite a while. You also have a couple other intriguing games that I'm not saying are going to have playoff implications or things like that, but I could see in a roundabout way. I wouldn't be shocked if Kansas is in the mix towards season's end, especially with the topsy-turvy nature of the Big 12 as a whole, and they have a super dynamic quarterback. So if they are healthy at quarterback, I think they have a chance. So it should be very interesting to see how that all unfolds. We look forward to breaking it down with Stanford Steve here in just a moment. So let's bring him in. He's Stanford Steve of SVP fame, of the Stanford Steve. If you're on the podcast now, we see you all the time on SportsCenter. We see you on College Gameday. We see you all over the place, my friend. How are we this offseason?
I'm doing great, and I'm doing some rankings, polls, whatever. I just want to say both of you guys are number 1 seeds in ball knowers. You guys are the best.
Oh, wow.
I miss talking to you.
Thank
and,
you.
Numero uno.
Good to be out with some A1 ball knowers.
Actually, so let's throw this one out just quickly because this is a random one. We just talked to Gerard Hamilton. I think a lot of folks are on different sides with Missouri going into this year. I think they have, and you and I have talked about it, there's 8 to 11 teams in the league that could be 9-win or 6 wins. Where are you, Missouri, more on the end of can exceed expectations or maybe take a step backwards this year?
I look at backwards. Everybody's going to point to their schedule, obviously, and how other teams would want their schedule. I think we said the same thing about them last year, but I put them kind of like in the Ole Miss range. What the upside could be when you talk about getting good quarterback play. Drink's always, doing a great job with quarterbacks. So when you look at in its totality, you get, road games at Auburn and Vanderbilt and Oklahoma and Arkansas. How many of those are going to win? And that was their problem. I mean, they got destroyed when they went to, I think they were still undefeated when they went to A&M last year. And that kind of gave you a real sense of what they were, but they overcame that. So I look at the ceiling as being, 8 wins in there. And I think like you guys have discussed and stuff. I know I saw you guys at SEC Media Days, doing the tiers of who's in where. So that 8-4 tier is where I have Missouri.
Looking at some of these other over-unders, a few that have been hotly debated. Texas is probably the most hotly debated this year. I love them. I think they have a real chance to go and win the national championship, but I do not feel confident taking the over on 10-2 or taking the over on 10.5.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're probably on the same page, but what are some other big numbers that you're avoiding at this point?
I think LSU's one that sticks out, Greg. I've told everybody I love LSU this year. I just don't like them week 1 because I like what Clemson brings to the table. I put Clemson 1 when I did a poll, but like the LSU, like you saw how fast it went up and down last year, where they come back and beat Ole Miss, and then you have that 3-game losing streak. And to me, Cole, you and I have talked about it plenty. You got to run the ball. I'm at the South Carolina game, and they figure things out on the run, and they get that win. But like going back, I looked at some stuff like the difference between Denbrock and Sloan, and Sloan ranks in rush offense as a play caller. He's done it 3 years. He's never finished inside the top 100. In 2020, he was 119th, and 21 is 105th, and last year he was 107th. So I just think how stubborn are they going to be about running the football, knowing that better things happen? People don't have their ears pinned to come after Nuss. We know he likes to take chances throwing the football. And we saw the bad side of that in that 3-game losing streak, where it caught up to them. So LSU has the most wiggle room, I feel like, when you're talking about a win total. It's at 8.5. I still believe they have the goods to win 9 games. So I lean over, but I could see where the portal doesn't work out. There's not a lot of team camaraderie, and they lose more. But I still trust Brian Kelly a ton. It's not the end of the world. It's going to feel like the end of the world if they lose week 1, knowing the lack of success they've had in week 1s. But you still have plenty to play for if things don't go your way week 1, which is great about the new format.
Greg and I would both be with you. Stanford Steve joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline with Clemson at 1. We have both been beyond surprised at where we've seen them land in a couple of other polls and a couple of other different places, a couple of other different rankings. Was it a difficult choice for you? Who would have been close? Who'd you debate it with? I think most people anticipate you'll go Penn State here. Was it a 3-team race, 4-team race? Was it just clear as day for you that Clemson's the best team in the nation heading into this season?
It was them and Penn State. I know everyone's going to point to Penn State and the head coach guys, but when I go back and watch, Greg, you called that game. I'm watching it with Coach Saban, the Orange Bowl, and James Franklin didn't throw the ball across the field in the middle of a gotta have it 2-minute drill. At some point, if these guys are going to be getting millions of dollars, they got to be more accountable. That's on the quarterback. That's on Drew Aller. You can't make that throw in that point of the game, and you have the lead in the first half, and it goes by the wayside, and you're at home watching the national championship. And the other thing with Penn State, I don't know how to read Aller. I look at the weirdness about not going to the Manning Passing Academy and how that played out, and it's been multiple years. And then I look at what he did in crunch time last year, but then I look at the rest of the roster and the addition of Knowles on defense. Give me all that. Their schedule's not tough. They should be in the national championship game this year. There's no excuses. They follow the Michigan-Ohio State model of bringing their guys back and adding pieces where they need them at wide receiver. So I think the world of them. It's not going to be because of James Franklin if they don't win. It's going to be because players didn't execute. I love both coordinators. So it was Clemson and Penn State for me to decide between the top 2.
What about Ohio State? I'm getting crushed for having them 8. I feel like that's super fair.
How do you know you're getting crushed? You don't look at social media. What are you looking at AL.com or something? Where are you getting crushed?
Get Up. I was just on Get Up, and Greeny was asking me about it, and I can sense when people ask me about a specific team and why I have them ranked where they're at, it indicates to me that people clearly have a problem with where I have that team ranked. I think Ohio State has a lot to prove. Can they be one of the best teams in the country? Absolutely. But there are a lot of unknowns surrounding that roster, especially at quarterback, and they require a lot of their quarterback. So what do we make of Ohio State at this point, and how would you kind of have them stacking up against the top teams?
Yeah, I have them at 7. And you touched on it, Greg, with the quarterback. It sounds like, Keynote's made it really, really hard on saying. And then, I think obviously go back and look at the numbers for the quarterbacks. Ryan Day does an exceptional job. But yeah, the things Hartline's never called plays. That's a big deal for me. When you're playing a team like Texas week 1, what's that going to look like? Yeah, all right, yeah, throw the ball to 4. We get it. But there's going to be different game plans that they see as you have the best player in the sport. And then on defense, I love Styles and Downs, obviously. But up front, that's a lot of snaps they lost. And I look at Texas in the same boat. I have them ranked right at the amount of snaps they lost from guys up front, and you go back and look at it, that's not a plug-and-play deal. Yeah, they're both set up to be great teams, and those teams don't rebuild. It's more of a reload, but you still got to plant pieces in, and guys got to get reps next to each other playing up front. So yeah, there's plenty of questions for me in the Texas and Ohio State. I feel like when you look at the week 1 games, I feel like I know a lot more about LSU and Clemson than I do Ohio State and Texas, and that's why I have Texas and Ohio State ranked 6 and 7.
I think it's totally fair when you start asking those questions. Who's the team that you have consistently seen lower, maybe lacking respect, lacking people who have real energy behind them going into this year that you kind of say, I like these guys. I don't know what people are missing with this team heading into this season.
I'll give you one off the Georgia Tech. I think Georgia Tech,
almost no conversation that outside of our show that I hear people like real. And I'm serious, like real buzz about when you look at what they have, Steve. It's like no buzz whatsoever.
Yeah, and I think the coaching staff probably kind of likes that. They could use it as motivation talking to their team, right? Like, hey, nobody's talking about. But seriously, the ultimate. I mean, it's going to be a fiasco. You go out to Boulder, right? You got to win that game. But you get Clemson at home, you go to Duke, who should be good. They're a team I still need to see more of. But being out there last year. And, we know what Florida State turned into, but, I just love how Georgia Tech came out. I think they're a handful to prep for with what they do pre-snap. Haynes is good as long as he's upright. They do a great job in the run game. I think, they're darn sound. I like the talent at the skill position. The running back's a stud. And you get a bunch of guys coming back on defense, and the group was fine. But you saw the upside last year when they pull off the upsets. Now you just got to work on consistency, and I think that's a lot easier. You know what your good is in beating teams, like Miami last year and going toe-to-toe with Georgia. So that's a team I thought I have them ranked. I was hoping they were going to get more love, but I think that you have everything you want in that team, and you bookend it with a Clemson and Georgia to get a litmus test of how good you are on your schedule. But that's a team no one has talked about that I think is going to have a really good season.
My only thing is they're just a little trendy, and that's
really
my only.
Who's talking about them?
People that know. All right, so I don't know.
Luke,
I feel like amongst
Luganville's on them.
I mean, Pate's on them. We're on them. Lugs is on them. I mean, I feel like, and I think a lot of people are basing their assumption of growth on the game against Georgia last year. I think if you look at their game against Georgia, it's like, oh, man, they're legit. And then you kind of dive in. It's like, well, the inconsistencies that they've had for years are still very much a part of last year's team. And hopefully, part of that has to do with Haynes King's health and a few other things. But yeah. I'm optimistic. But I also at the same time feel like, man, they're a better team when no one's talking about them. I do think people are, in fact, making note of just how good they might be. Answer me this in the Big 12. If I were to tell you right now, Arizona State or the field, how quickly are you running to the window to bet the field?
I'm jogging. I'm jogging.
Oh, God. Well, for you, a jog is like a sprint for most because of just how athletic you are. As a blocking tight end, it resembled Robbie Oots.
I wish.
Whoa.
I wish.
It's not a bad comp, by the way. I'd take that comp.
I couldn't hold Robbie Oots' jock in the blocking game. I'll just say that. That man could get after it. No, the issue, Greg, is I think Texas Tech's the biggest wild card in the country, right? And when you look at what's violating the portal in every way possible, I think the biggest question for me is their quarterback's health. I really like the quarterback, but that shoulder, man, that's a tough deal. And if you lose him, you added all these pieces, but you don't have the keys. Baylor is super scary. In Utah is a team I can't get off them. I've been on them every year, but I'll be back on Utah. So I thought Dillingham was really good in the stuff that I've watched about how it's not about recruiting anymore. It's about retaining. What he did with Sam Leavitt, I thought was absolutely, just going back and watching games, I didn't appreciate Leavitt for how good he was in knowing the situation that he was in. I think it's criminal that they took away the preseason rankings. You want people to talk about your league, and then they use the Arizona State deal that as to why they're not. I'm like, they went from unranked to a top 12 team in 3 weeks. Like, what's wrong with that? They made the playoff. So, no, it's super fascinating. It's as fun a conference as there is. I think that's why guys like us love it, because the games week in and week out and in the different home fields, especially now, like teams playing in Orlando, Cincinnati, and Lubbock. Like, you don't get that diversity in other conferences, which makes it fun as hell. But, yeah, I'm real interested to see Dillingham with all the expectation, how does he handle that? That's the thing as a young head coach that I'm super interested in seeing how he handles his team, because they bring back plenty of stuff, and Levitt's at the top of it and should be the best quarterback in the league.
Are you with us that – well, I'm not going to speak for Greg because I think he's on board with me here because we've kind of had this conversation, but not deliberately. I just think this is going to be upsets, close games, late games, tight. Single plays are massive late that decide games. Just kind of a bananas season in college football because of that lack of clarity we have at the top. We take Penn State, we take Clemson, we take Ohio State, as we've all talked about. There are plenty of problems and issues. Feels like more than ever to discuss with those. Are you into like Greg asked me the question the other day? How many 3-loss teams getting in?
Yeah.
And when you start thinking about it, you're like, whoa, I can see it. I can see multiple. Are you on board with that kind of a season this year?
No doubt. I mean, you just look. I mean, I think you asked the question like who can win a national championship. That seems like it's more than it has been, which is great. Everybody wants a shot, and that's the thing with the new playoff is, with the old BCS, it was all right. Who's getting the top two, and then with the 4 team, all right, who's 5th and 6th there. Now, just go back to last year. How many teams at the end, and you didn't know what was going to happen in the Big 12, but like instead of 4 and 5, you're looking at to get the last spot. It's teams from 12 to 18 that had a shot, and it just makes it better for the whole season. And I love the 12 team. They made the fixes. Can we just let it bake now? Like I think we're set up for a great season, including a playoff that's been tweaked a little bit and will work out great. All the change is what scares me, and like people just got to find some more hobbies or something. It just feels like people are getting bored and just want to change stuff. Like let's let it bake. Like the season's here, let's enjoy it.
No. Stop. That's way too level-headed. We need more chaos and more disruption. Steve, get you out of here with this. Looking at the national championship picture this year, if you were to place a wager on a league to go and win it, which league are you going with?
I'm taking the SEC.
There you go. All right. Stanford Steve going SEC.
I got one for you guys on the way out.
Let's get it.
Who wins more games, A&M or Oklahoma?
Ooh,
A&M schedule. I think Oklahoma could be really good, lose 3 or 4. Yeah. Schedule's filthy. And I do think with everything that we love about Oklahoma, right, let's take it. John Mateer brings his OC from Washington State. Could it be there? It's still got a gel fit work. It doesn't always work. How many times have we seen it? Oh, these guys were great over here, and it just doesn't work. O-line healthy. Deion Burke's healthy. Rest of receivers, running backs healthy. I love the D-line. I've said it. It's the best D-line in the SEC. You still lose Billy Bowman and Danny Stutzman, 2 of the best players, leaders we've seen the last couple of years on that side of the football. So there's still plenty of question marks, just like every other team we're going to talk about, Steve. So, and there's question marks with A&M. I'm not sold on their quarterback situation, but I bet they're going to be able to run the football.
Yeah.
I mean, think about everything we love about Oklahoma right now for all those reasons. Who's going to be better at running the football this year, A&M or Oklahoma?
A&M.
Okay. So.
Well, if you factor in quarterback run.
Scramble. Okay, factor it in.
Count that?
Factor it in. I think Marcel Reed can pick up a couple yards with his legs if he needs to.
I agree. He's
he
not
ain't going between the tackles very much, but no, he's not Mateer. He's not, but
he's not Mateer running the ball.
They'll be able to add it. Hell, they probably should have added in a couple games last year when they were in comfortable spots and lost.
Here we go.
I just asked that question because like Oklahoma, Michigan, week 2, I have no idea what that's going to look like. No idea. Michigan, I mean, I'm still waiting for their training camp to come on Big Ten. I'm trying to put names to faces and numbers. I have no idea what Michigan's going to have.
Yeah, it's their last stop, right? I was watching Michigan State last night. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. It's going to be a fun year, man. We're glad you're back on board to be with us on Fridays, and I think it's going to be great. How are you pumped about first week 1 or 0, where you guys are heading doing?
Yeah, I'm fired up. The first show is going to be unlike we've ever done. It being Coach Corso's last show, but like I don't know how much time you guys have spent in Chapel Hill. We're going there for the Monday night game. Like it's sold out. It's the biggest game they've had there since '97. Speaking of teams, I have no idea what they're going to look like because they don't wear numbers in practice. But I can't wait to be at Chapel Hill to see that scene and see what it's like. That campus is as good as it gets.
Almost said the exact same thing you just did, Steve. Speaking of no idea, I mean, I couldn't give you no clue when we're going to get there. No idea.
That campus is as good as it gets on a game day? Are you kidding? What are we doing here? I love you. I love you.
I'm talking about beauty of campuses, Greg.
Oh, stop
With a sold-out crowd. They never had a sold-out crowd since 97.
Then how do you know how it looks?
I was there.
97, was that Dre Bly?
Yes, it was.
Brandon Spoon at linebacker?
Oh.
God, my football knowledge is elite.
Bonnie Holiday.
What were you doing? Tailgating? What were you doing there?
We played there.
Tailgating.
Wait, Stanford sold it out?
Yeah. They were top
Oh,
5
my.
teams.
I've heard it all.
They were coming to see us. They were top 5.
There you go.
All right.
No, Greg doesn't know, but they had some dudes, man. I'm telling you. Dre Bly had 14 picks one year. Brandon Spoon was like a top 5 linebacker coming out of high school. And before I think he tore his bicep like twice, and he wasn't quite as effective. Yep. They had dudes, man. They really did.
Jeff Saturday.
He's okay.
Pretty good.
Not a bad guy. So, Steve, we always appreciate it, man. Have a great weekend. We'll catch up next week.
All right, boys. Have a great weekend.
Stanford Steve joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline, G-Mac.
Love Stanford Steve. Always appreciate him. He also will be joining us hopefully almost every week. We're hoping to have him. Obviously, travel schedules make things challenging from time to time. He's great, and we always appreciate him. We also appreciate our friends at Atlas Senior Living. Atlas Senior Living does an amazing job. They will always make sure they go above and beyond to make sure that your loved ones are taken care of. They have locations throughout the Southeast, including one here in Birmingham, down there near Greystone. It's a terrific, terrific place. They have so much that they can offer your loved ones in the event in which they want to go spend some time at Atlas Senior Living. So go check them out, atlasseniorliving.com. Also, they will have a Pick'em contest coming out here very soon. So stay up to date with us on that. You can get Amazon gift cards. You can get some money. All you got to do is pick some winners against the spread. So check it out, atlasseniorliving.com. All
right, when we come back, quarterback news around college football, and we hear from Kalen DeBoer right after this on Jocks.
Go inside Jocks 94.5 on Jocks TV. Morning Jocks, Mac and Cube, 3-man front video simulcasts are presented by Bill Smith Buick GMC and Game Day Men's Health. Watch on the Jocks mobile app and YouTube by searching Jocks 94.5 TV.